Hi, everyone. Welcome to the SVG News Sponsor Spotlight, joined by Newsbridge and James Fraser, who is the head of U.S. sales. James, welcome to the SVG family, but also, I guess, welcome for Newsbridge to America. So how are things?
Yeah, very good. Thanks for welcoming us. As some of you may or may not know, we recently just had our Series A fundraising completed, in which we're going to use a portion of the funds to actually expand into the US. We've chosen New York as a base, and we've already started hiring a team there that will be run by myself. But we're looking to replicate the success we've had in Europe with sports and media right holders across the pond in the Big Apple.
Excellent. Yeah. So no, I went to your website. You have a lot of great case studies of European customers, and really, really tight with a lot of federations and leagues and broadcasters. So walk through the Newsbridge value proposition as far as, I know you're using cloud and AI as far as indexing content, which is always a big issue. Walk us through sort of your value proposition and some of your products and services, because you also have a lot of them. There's apps, there's the cloud platforms, obviously. There's even, like, I guess, some ways to monetize content through your system. So walk us through what Newsbridge is all about.
Sure. How long have we got? No, I'm joking. The value proposition of Newsbridge is that we are a cloud-based media hub service for sports media rights holders. And the point of what you mentioned in terms of indexation is what separates ourselves from maybe your standard MAM or DAM providers, in the fact that content indexation is something we really preach as important to be able to make your media easily searchable, easily findable, and of course resellable. The point of Newsbridge is to centralize media in one place, index it using AI features, and then to ultimately make it monetizable for all of your digital content needs, to whether that's an end user or whether that's to media partners and sponsors. We have a feature within our platform called Media Marketplace that allows an external partner to log in and see only a proportion of your MAM and of your archive, that allows that partner to self-service themselves. So we'll give you an example. A lot of sports rights content holders come to us and say, at the end of the game, we're inundated with sponsors wanting that winning moment with their brand in the background. And, we just want to focus on getting our sports highlights out. So we came up with the idea with Media Marketplace to be able to allow that sponsor to be able to get that moment themselves and self-service from that. So we use AI, a technology called OCR, which is optical character recognition, to be able to, for example, recognize, I don't know if I can say this, but say, for example, a Nike logo, and then that Nike logo to be automatically captured into what we call a collection, so that Nike could come in and have an external login into your MAM and be able to self-service and take from the videos or the images that it sees what it wants, and then post on their own social platforms or digital platforms as they wish.
Very cool. So I guess one of the ways I like to try to understand these sort of systems is to let's walk through a piece of content. So you mentioned a match. So how are you tied in? So I'm a league, I have a game. Where does my content go to get through your system, or is your technology somewhere in my facility? What's sort of that workflow, if you will?
Sure. So we are natively based in the cloud native. We're based on AWS. We have two options really here. You can either ingest a live stream, so an RTMP, HLS, SRT, all the kind of native broadcast standards, or you can simply file upload, drag and drop upload into the system. So when the file is then into the cloud, you can then apply through one of our many third-party integrations, whether that's Stats Perform, Genius Sports. You can apply essentially sports and betting data to that file. So again, what this helps sports rights holders do is find those key moments in matches. So for example, you want to find a particular goal, a yellow card, a red card, whatever the action is that you want to find and is data-driven from that third-party data, we can find that and help semi-automate highlights. Now, automated highlights, again, is a controversial topic because some people say it's doable. And I'm going to be totally honest and tell you that it's 90% of the way there. But AI is an assistive tool. It will never replace a media logger. It will never replace an editor. All it does is assist them in making their job easier, so that he or she may come to the end of a game and know that in the goals folder, if the game finished 3-0, there should be 3 clips of goals that they can review, shorten or extend as they like, and then preview them, and then so as I said, shorten or extend as you like, and then post them to wherever they might need to do. So it's not an assistive tool. Don't worry, robots aren't going to take over the world and get rid of all of us yet and render our jobs useless. But what it's doing is is streamlining and making your workflows more efficient, allowing people to have more time on the job to do what they're good at, right? Which is create the content and sell the story around the content, not have to be playing with technology and clicking buttons left, right, and center in the hope that they get what they want.
Right. Well, it's funny because I mean, obviously in the world of sports highlights, every second counts, right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So let me just follow up on that because that is there was a lot of promise of you won't need people, you can do this. So you really believe that it is part of an ecosystem that involves people to do quality management and make sure that the thing just properly, the clip is properly starts, ends, and it feels proper.
Sure. I mean, look, we've grown up with television being directed by human beings. So to suddenly believe that it could be directed by robots is nonsense, frankly. At the end of the day, I always use this example, but in a football or a soccer match, whatever you want to call it, if a player scores in the 91st minute of the game, a goal score, scores a goal in the 91st minute of the game that wins the game for that team, when you've taught the robot to go back, for example, and clip a goal as 10 seconds that way and 10 seconds that way, if he or she has just scored in the last minute of the game, there's going to be some wild celebrations there. The crowd going crazy. He's probably got his shirt off, running around the entire pitch. You're not going to capture that if you've taught the machine to only capture a 20-second clip when it receives from a data feed that there's been a goal. So again, you're never going to remove the need for an editor to come in and review the files that we're putting there, but simply what we're doing is making his or her life easier, because at the end of the day, like I said, if it's a 2 or 3-0 game, they should come in and find those 2 or 3 clips and be able to review them quickly. And you can change the in and out on our platform straight away. So for example, if it is that last minute goal and you need to get those crazy celebrations of the guy running into the crowd, you can extend the TC in and out at the end, save it, and then publish it to wherever it needs to go.
Right. That's great. So I guess so what is the plan now for here in the US? So you're opening an office. Give us a sense of your roadmap for the next, let's call it year. We got NEB next year. So will you be at NEB? Obviously next week is NEB New York, but going to next year, what's your plan?
Most definitely. So look, we'll be attending as many events as possible. We're probably going to be on a lot of SVG panels, and I'm looking forward to those. The goal for the next year is to replicate the success we've had with media and sports rights holders across Europe. I think the US market represents an opportunity for a large scale opportunity where sometimes, for example, in the UK, to give an example, there are 5 main news broadcasters, whereas I think you could argue there's probably 3 or 4 per state in the US, right? So you don't have to do the maths and then work out the number of states and then the amount of opportunities in comparison to the smaller UK market here. Replicating the success that we've had with those people, those customers, across Europe is my main goal. I feel that we're in a position where our technology is market leading. I think the way, as I said, we differentiate ourselves using our AI features against our competitors is market leading. And that's why it's important to add that even though our Series A funding, a lot of it's being used to expand into the US, a large proportion is actually going straight back into R&D. We want to make sure that our product stays ahead of the competitors and stays ahead of this kind of technology curve. And we react to the market trends that happen and also the market feedback that we get from the US. I'm sure there will be some differences of opinion between European and US mindsets of how data should be handled, how certain things should be processed. And we're open and willing to listen to those. And I think customer feedback is essential to how you innovate internally and then produce a product that meets and addresses market needs.
Right. So last question, as far as your AI technology, can you discuss that a little bit as far as how that kind of works? You mentioned object recognition. There's lots of ways to go about it. So what's sort of the secret sauce there?
I got to be very careful here because I don't want to give too many sort of internal secrets away. It's a bit of a secret sauce here, but we pride ourselves on our AI all being built in house. We have 4 cognitive features that we use. The first one being speech to text that people will be familiar with, but we've recently introduced a subtitle editor where you can burn subtitles into the video on our platform in over 100 different languages. And you can transcribe and translate into, over 100 different languages pretty much instantly from the point of ingest. So it works 6 to 8 times quicker, I think, than a human being can transcribe. So it's pretty useful for being able to push content into newer regions that you're perhaps not in, and also offers you potentially a new revenue stream. If you can push content with a subtitle into a new region, that's a potential new revenue stream for a business. The second one we're probably all most familiar with, facial recognition, does what it says on the tin, is an English expression there. We are built with Wiki dataset and Amazon Celebrity dataset, but we also have an inbuilt thesaurus that can be trained by a customer bringing their own dataset or training it as they go. You can quite simply take 2 or 3 images, drag and drop them in, give someone a name and a title and description, and every single time that person is then recognized by the AI, either in an image, even in a PDF or in a video clip, they will then be tagged as associated to that person. And you can tag and associate a person to another alias. So for example, you could tag Roger Federer to tennis. You could tag any particular person to a team that they're associated with. The third The third AI feature is labels. This is the machine learning element of the platform, whereby we can detect within the video scene absolutely everything that is in there. So behind me, we've seen paintings. Behind you, you might see a scarf. You might see, I can see it's a little bit of a clash. There's an Arsenal scarf and a Tottenham scarf, so it's a little bit contentious, but we'll be able to pick that up. So along with the football, chair, microphone, etc. So it's the machine learning element of the platform, and where that really helps sort of news and sports is being able to find filler content. So, for example, when there's a flood in a foreign country, but they might not have the budget to send someone out there to cover the story live, they may want to search for some previous flash flooding in their archive history, and they can pull up some old content from before and reutilize that. And the fourth and final one, I think we briefly touched on it earlier, is called OCR, which is optical character recognition, which is the ability to be able to read broadcast graphics. So not only just the graphics that are added by a graphics machine to a broadcast that's going out live, but also the ability of the machine to be able to read logos. So, for example, I can't quite determine the logo on the front of your shirt, but we could train our algorithm to be able to find. I did think it was golf, so I just didn't want to get it wrong. But our machine wouldn't get that wrong. But we can train the machine to learn that is the Open Championship. And so, for example, every single time it's detected, we can notify the system.
Right. Excellent. That's great. Yeah. My scarves may break your system as far as knowing where my bucket goes. Is he an Arsenal fan or a Tottenham fan? But,
absolutely. It might cause a bit of a crash.
That's a conversation over drinks, my man.
Indeed.
So hopefully we'll see you soon. Really appreciate your time. Good luck here in the US, and
perfect.
Really look forward to seeing you at all the SVG events in the future.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. And we look forward to seeing you.